This is one of the most genius chocolate chip cookies you are ever going to hear about or taste. And side note, unrelated, it just happens to be completely vegan. And these ladies are responsible for it. I'm very lucky because I have the founders of Ovenly Bakery here today who invented this amazing cookie recipe, Erin and Agatha, who have been making this cookie for many, many years and selling it to lots of happy vegans and non-vegans.
Most of the non-vegans don't even know it's vegan.
I know.
So.
Secretly vegan.
Do you advertise it in the shop? Do you
Secretly
secretly
vegan. Very
vegan?
small lettering.
Yes, yeah.
Secretly vegan.
And it happens to be the best-selling cookie in our company. It's so everyone eats this cookie.
This recipe is something that I started working on in my early 20s. I worked for a vegetarian restaurant and I just wanted to make a better vegan cookie than they did. So really it was my intense sense of competition that started driving me to make the recipe. But when Agatha and I started Ovenly, we were like, let's take all of our recipes that we've been making in our lives. What are the easiest things that we have? And this really was part of our first menu. And we didn't make it because it was vegan. We made it because it was easy.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's why it's genius.
Vegan was almost maybe third, maybe even later on the list. It was easy.
Yes.
Vegan was never
Delicious.
even really
Yeah, it wasn't,
part of
it
the
wasn't
thought
about
process.
it being
Yeah.
vegan. It was about it being simple and easy to make at home and something that we can easily scale as a bakery too.
Yeah.
And we were really looking for recipes that were simple and classic but with a twist. So really accessible to everyone. We didn't want to leave anyone out. All right.
So we can go to the what's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's half a cup of cane sugar and half a cup of light brown sugar. Where's the...
Dark brown sugar.
Let's look
It's
at
dark
the
brown
recipe.
sugar.
Light brown sugar.
Oh, you're right. But for this, it's dark brown sugar. For this, it's dark
Hello.
brown sugar.
Wait. So do we
what
say it's light brown
what does this one
sugar
say?
in our recipe?
Dark brown sugar.
Okay. So
So it's you can do what you want.
half cup of cane sugar and then a half cup of brown sugar, light or dark.
The ones that we have on Food 52 are more spread out, darker,
Right.
versus the ones that you
Yeah.
find at Ovenly, or if you
Which
use
are a lighter color.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So we're gonna add a quarter cup and a tablespoon of water to this. And then a half cup of canola oil. And what's nice is with this vegan recipe, you just need a whisk. There's no creaming involved and you don't have to deal with the butter, and this is so easy to mix. But you really want to spend a little bit of time whisking this together, and then you'll get this like nice fluffy, lighter texture.
The next piece of this is refrigerating the dough. You cannot skip this step. So what happens is the gluten relaxes, all the flavors meld, and if you can do a test at home where you bake it right away and you bake it the next day, and you'll see a total difference. Before this was in the cookbook, Kristen had actually tested the cookie at all different hours.
I
It was
know. I
so
love that.
it was so like OCD and amazing. Like after an hour, after 3 hours, after 6 hours, after 12, and you can even see and go back to that post what the difference is in the cookie when you let it sit for longer.
So what I like to do is just cover it with saran wrap or whatever you have, and then just stick it in the refrigerator.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't even doing anything.
It's just by
threw
proxy
the
for
flour
us.
on the-
Yeah.
I made you
We
guys
talk
do-
about clean baking, and then we're just like,
I made you guys do all the work, and then I somehow dipped my front into flour.
Sorry.
Would you say that the resting is what makes these vegan cookies taste just as good, if not better, than buttery, eggy versions?
100%.
Okay.
And in fact, if you have a buttery, eggy version you love, also let it rest. That resting period changes any chocolate chip cookie for the better, and you should do it. If you really love this recipe, the base dough, so take out the chocolate, put whatever you want in it, you can make your own cookie.
This is, I think, the most Instagrammed recipe that we've had from Genius Desserts
Oh,
so
I
far.
love hearing that. I really love when people tag us on Instagram and show us all of the fun ways they've used the recipe, and I really encourage people out there to do it.
Yeah. So the difference between these two, if you can tell, is that this is the one that has not rested, and you can see that it's more wet. The flour has not absorbed the wet ingredients, and so it's more wet. And this is a little bit more crumbly. I like to give it a mix before I start actually scooping.
And also you can tell that it's darker. Same exact ingredients. One is I think a full shade of beige darker
Yeah.
than the other because we've let it rest. it's aerated a little bit, it's oxygenated a little bit, and so that's the color difference.
Science.
I'm putting these cookies all in a line on a tray, and that's because I'm gonna freeze them for 10 minutes. And once they're frozen, then I'll separate them out onto a tray.
If you freeze it for at least 10 minutes, the cookies will retain their shape. So they'll be a little bit puffier, they won't spread as much, and it really does help with the baking process, which is why we don't like to skip that step either. If you are a crispy cookie lover, then you actually don't need to freeze the dough because it'll just spread more if you pop them right in the oven.
Crispy, thin cookie.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. If you like them crispy, bake them longer.
Yeah.
If you like
We
them
don't
kind of
like
raw,
crispy.
bake them less. To your taste.
You can top these with whatever you want, but don't top them until you're ready to bake. So you
Right.
don't want to put the salt on and then freeze the cookies because the salt will just melt into the cookie.
And you guys would wrap these in in plastic before putting in the freezer? No.
No, just stick them
Great.
in the freezer.
I just if it's 10 minutes,
Yeah,
they're not
it's
going to
not-
get
nothing's
freezer
gonna happen.
smell.
Okay, well, we're gonna freeze these uncovered because we have permission from
You
Auntie
have
Agatha.
We give you our blessing.
Okay, I'm off to the freezer. So while our pucks are freezing, we can take a little trip down memory lane. After I featured your cookies on Food 52 a few years back and people went crazy for them, they had to go in Genius Desserts and they had to be
Course.
on the back cover of
Thank
Genius
you.
Desserts.
I love
Love
it. That's one of my favorite pictures. It's just
so delicious.
I just want to eat that.
I
I
mean-
like to carry around some sort of packaged cookie in my bag pretty much at all times, just in case I run into someone. I'm like, here you go, and
Oh,
it
it's
makes
like-
someone's day.
It's a gift treat.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I do that, but it's not a gift. That was so fast. Again, 3 people make quick work.
Yeah, I
know.
Here, I'll send them off. We did the 2 different options. We froze half of the batch for 10 minutes. We didn't freeze the other half just to see the difference and so you guys could see the difference.
This is
Yeah.
not frozen, and this was frozen, and you could see the difference in terms of the spread and the size. So this cookie spread a lot more. So when you freeze it, it retains its shape and becomes a little puffier. So this cookie is going to be more chewy, while this cookie is going to be a little bit more crispy.
They'll both be delicious.
Yeah.
It's just however you want to do it.
Oh, and do you guys want milk? I'm gonna go for one of the. Well, I'm gonna
Crispier
start with one of the
Crispy.
crispy. Yeah.
Interesting. It's
I'm
a,
a
we
sucker
don't
for
judge.
crispy.
Maybe
So I'm
a
gonna
little.
go for this,
Yeah.
like the big.
I'm going to go
wide,
for a
crispy guy.
nice, chewy guy. And I'm going to dip it in my coffee because
God,
that's
it's
what
so
I like
good.
to do.
This is
my
the
gosh.
perfect texture.
Yeah.
See how like crumbly the texture is, but like a little not underdone, but chewy too.
Yeah, even the crispy ones are like still nice and soft and chewy in the middle, but they just have that good crispy edge.
Oh yeah.
So good.
It does not matter if you're vegan or not vegan.
You
You're
can
going
be
to
whoever
love it.
you want to
can
be when you eat these cookies.
anywhere on the vegan spectrum and
Anywhere on
love
the
these cookies. Make the cookies.
Eat the cookies.
Eat the cookies. The recipe is on Food 52. It's in both of these cookbooks. It is in, if you just want to swing by one of Ovenly's bakeries.
You
they're
don't even have
there.
to make it. You can just come buy it.
So there's lots of ways to get your cookie fix. If you want more genius recipes, you should like this video and subscribe to the channel, and there will be more recipes flying at you every single week.
You guys,
Good?
these cookies are so good.
They're so good. Anna,
I'm into the dark brown sugar.
Nailed it.
Here, I'm gonna just come bring the soft cookies around. Cookie?